We all know that summer heat can be hard on roses, and that is especially true here in hot and humid Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. And my David Austin roses were no exception. In fact, many of them struggled with black spot, dropped all their leaves. I called them my naked roses affectionately all summer. But a few strong performers really stood out, putting out bloom after bloom and keeping healthy leaves all summer long. So today I'm sharing 8 summer standouts that really earned a spot in my garden. So it's also the beginning of September, and David Austin was shipping potted roses. I'm not sure if they're still doing that through September. I know mine just shipped yesterday, so I should get it today. But they will be opening up their bare root sales this month for the spring, and that's my favorite type of rose to order. So that's why I wanted to talk about these standouts right now. Okay, I'm going to look at my notes here. All right, the first one, my absolute favorite, I have 5 of them in my garden right now, and that is Desdemona. That one is a 2015 release. It is an English shrub rose. It is a creamy white with a soft blush. They say it's a center. Oh no, soft pink blush in the bud. Yeah, it's in the bud. It's kind of pearlescent. It reminds me of the Moonlight in Paris as far as it's pink closer to the sepals, and then it goes into a beautiful, creamy, translucent white, pearly white. It blooms in beautiful cupped blooms that grow in sprays. It's so beautiful on the shrub. I hate to cut them, but you can just cut a stem, get that beautiful spray, stick it in a little vase, a bud vase, and it's just absolutely spectacular. It is a compact but bushy shrub, and so it stays, or my second year one has stayed around that 3-foot mark, so it really is good for front of the border. And if you have other roses, David Austin roses too, it would be a good one to put in front of them if you're kind of going too deep, because it does stay so beautiful all summer long, and it will cover those more naked shrubs behind it. It's hardy through zones 5 through 9. The second is Silas Marner. This is a 2020 release. It's one of their newer releases. It is a soft mid-pink cupped blooms with a fruity fragrance of lemon and green banana. It's an upright, a medium-sized shrub with a continuous rebloom. So mine is about between 4.5 feet tall. It blooms in sprays that stay on top. They grow upright. They don't tip over and lean over like the Desdemona. They are so beautiful. Definitely blooms all summer long in this beautiful sprays. They do turn white in the summer, so when I look out, my soft pink row of David Austins are completely white, so I'm trying to put some stronger pinks in the midst. Right now I do have zinnias around them to keep some color, but I do wish I had some stronger pinks in that area of my garden, but it really is spectacular. Did get a lot of black spot early in the spring, and then in the summer when all the other David Austins seemed to be losing their leaves, it was staying a little stronger. I don't know if it's now and getting close to the end of its second full season, that maybe it's just getting a little bit healthier. We'll see what happens next year. I do have it in a crowded area with zinnias and other roses blooming into the base. So there's really not that much airflow, but yeah, it is definitely a strong performer, Silas Marner, and it smells beautiful. Also good 5 through 9. I think this one might also be good in part shade, but I do have it in full sun. Elizabeth, another newer release, 2022, medium upright apricot pink ruffled blooms with a light tea fragrance. So the bloom shape reminds me of the Emily Bronte. The Elizabeth blooms all summer long, tons of sprays. It did kind of grow kind of haphazardly. I did put it in a bird cage to kind of keep the canes growing a little bit more upright so they weren't just flopping on the ground. You could use a peony cage or something like that to support it also. And I did thin it out in the center, but I might have thinned it too much because now I've got these long canes on the outside and a very low center. So I'm going to have to rethink my pruning next next winter. Blooms nonstop, tight clusters. When they open, it's just so many gorgeous flowers. Also fades to white in the summer, but right now I'm getting kind of that pink fading to white sprays, and it's just spectacular, and it smells divine. Another favorite, really strong performer for me, it's a deep pink. It's the James L. Austin. It's a 2017 release. It is definitely a more upright shrub. It did have some black spot. I did have one defoliated period, but then it grew back and it has been keeping its leaves. It is a vigorous bloomer. The blooms stay that really deep pink color. I take that back. It does change a little bit from leaning a little more cranberry to leaning a little more pink, or cranberry purplish to more pink. So it does change a little bit, the shade, but it's still large blooms, deep blooms, even in the summer heat. So love it. It was introduced in honor of David Austin's son. Okay, next one is Roald Dahl. It is a 2016 release. This is one of my first year David Austins. I did have it last year, planted in what I called my wetlands. It was before I knew that everything was drowning there. It was one of the first. It was the first I planted there, and it was the first to die there. But they did send me a replacement this year because David Austin has a wonderful warranty if you order from David Austin. If you order from a local nursery, it's whatever your nursery's policy is. But if you order from David Austin, they have a 5-year warranty. So anyways, they sent it again, planted it in an excellent spot along my driveway. Huge, continuous blooms all summer long. I mean, just covered. Covered, like my Desdemona. And no black spot. Beautiful green leaves. I definitely, the Roald Dahl and the Desdemona were really, really strong, healthy, covered top to bottom in blooms. It does have also the more delicate blooms. They don't shatter quite as easy as the Desdemona. They are a little more substantial. It does have a light tea fragrance, and it was named for the famed author that wrote, well, I can't remember what the exact name is, but Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So whatever the book, if that was called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, if that's just the movie. Another super strong performer I've got right here, my Windermere. All the other David Austins are in full sun. The Windermere is in, it gets afternoon shade, and it is they say it's creamy white blooms. I call it a very pale yellow. This is a 3rd-year rose for me. So again, sometimes I think I need to get to that 3rd-year point on all my other David Austins, but because it didn't bloom very much first year, it was in a big pot, and I was like, bloomed once in the spring, once in the fall, and then last year I had rose midge, really struggled, didn't bloom at all through the summer until I got that rose midge under control. Then I put it in the ground where it's getting the part shade. Beautiful, covered in blooms all the time, super healthy. Very little black spot. I can pick it off with one hand whenever I get a few leaves. But I'm so glad it's right here in the front next to my porch, the closest to me, because it's just spectacular. And it does bloom in flushes, but the flushes just come one after another. They say it has a fruity fragrance. It's a pretty light fragrance, and they are the easily shattered blooms. So it blooms a lot, but they are the cupped, the what I call the typical David Austin blooms that do shatter a little bit easier. Olivia Rose Austin, I did have her in part shade last year, and I think she did better. She is in full sun now, kind of getting overtaken by the zinnias and the Silas Marner and Wild Eve on the other side, but she still held her own. So she still kept green foliage all summer long. She has a soft pink, perfect rosette, really good as a cut flower, very full blooms, does not shatter easily. Yeah, she's really, really pretty. Introduced in 2014 and named for David Austin's daughter. Did I say fruity citrus fragrance? I should put my notes in order so I make sure I talk about everything. Does bloom in flushes though, so she'll bloom, then you won't have anything, and then she'll bloom again. But the flushes go all summer long. And then my last one was on my least favorite list last year. I'm sorry, Harlow Carr. This year, the spring, I was still iffy. I had her in a pot, and I knew the pot was too small, too narrow. So I put her in the ground this spring. She still didn't do anything early in the spring. I thought about digging her up and giving her away over the summer. So glad I didn't, because by August, she kind of came into her own. She really kind of filled out, and she's a true pink, a deep pink, super fragrant. I have her on the end of my driveway. I love sitting on the porch and looking over with the sea of all the David Austins that kind of turned white. And then I also have my white roses over there. To have that beautiful pink, it just makes me so happy. Grows in sprays. I don't necessarily cut her because she's super thorny, but I do like her at the end of the driveway to prevent anyone from wanting to cut. Introduced in 2004, powerful old rose fragrance. So yeah, she's super fragrant. It says compact and bushy, continuously flowering. I do think she's about 3.5 feet tall, no octopus cane, so she's staying about a shoulder height on me, so maybe that's 4 feet. I would actually have to get there with the tape measure to see, but great heat tolerance and some black spot, but then she does fill out again. The leaves do fill out again in the summer. So I'm kind of hoping if I get it all cleaned up and really treat her for black spot this winter, that I will get just the healthy green foliage all season long. I think that's what's going to happen with her, just based on how the black spot's coming and going. Those are 8 David Austins that were really summer standouts here in my Middle Tennessee, hot, humid, mid-90s over the summer garden. So I know everyone has different climates, so I only can talk about how they do in our climate here, Zone 7B. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.